Have you ever stopped to think if there's, a path to business success that goes deeper than just the bottom line?
Hmm.
A way to find real fulfillment, maybe, not just financial wins. We seem so caught up in this relentless chase for profit.
Yeah,
But what if we could actually, harmonize that drive with genuine purpose and well-being?
it's a really important question, isn't it? And our deep dive today gets right into that. We're looking at a book called Business Yoga, Ancient Wisdom for Modern Businesses by Anil Kariwala.
Business yoga, okay.
He has a pretty unique take. It tries to blend this ancient yoga philosophy with, well, modern business practices. The whole aim is helping organizations become more balanced, more conscious, and, ultimately more successful too.
Right. So our mission here is basically to pull out the key insights from this book. We want to show you how concepts we usually link with yoga discipline, balance, clarity, purpose, how they're actually just as vital in the boardroom as they are on the mat. So maybe let's start by looking at business itself. Why do some companies seem to last forever, for centuries even?
Well, the author, Anil Kariwala, he talks about being fascinated in high school by this idea of businesses as perpetual entities.
Perpetual entities.
Yeah, like that you just keep going, outlasting founders, employees
Right.
indefinitely. But it struck him as a paradox, right? Because in physics, perpetual motion, a machine running forever on its own steam, that's impossible.
That's a great point. So if a machine can't do it, how can a business?
Right. He connects it to the Chiranjeevas, the immortals in Hindu scriptures. Their immortality isn't just about, not dying physically. It requires this continuous living consciousness.
Ah, okay.
So he asks, do businesses need something similar, a kind of continuous consciousness to really survive long term? Or are they just, well, a collection of assets waiting to dissolve?
Interesting, because businesses have evolved so much, haven't they?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We went from these small shops, basically, that just ended when the owner died, to things like the Dutch East India Company, the VOC, founded way back in 1602.
Wow, 1602.
Yeah. They pioneered the joint stock model, pooling resources, sharing risks. That let businesses really outlive individuals for the first time in a structured way.
And then came professional management, right? That must have been key as they got bigger.
Totally. That's when you see formal business education starting up. Places like ESCP Europe in 1819, Harvard Business School in 1908,
Right.
and early theorists, Frederick Winslow Taylor, Henri Fayol, they focused heavily on efficiency, strategy, leadership. Max Weber added his bureaucracy model, too.
But the author points out they miss something crucial.
Yeah, Kariwala says they often overlook the human element, what actually motivates people from the inside.
Okay, so that led to the next wave, business gurus.
Kind of, yeah. The word guru actually comes from Sanskrit, meaning dispeller of ignorance. Figures like Michael Porter, with his five forces model, or Gary Hamel, thinking about the future of management, they brought in new frameworks.
But even with better frameworks, adaptability seems like the real key. You see so many giants fall.
Absolutely. Think Kodak, Blockbuster, Nokia. They just couldn't adapt, or wouldn't.
Yeah.
But then you had these amazing stories of resilience. St. Gobain, founded 1665, still going strong, moving from glass to high-tech materials. Or Kongo Gumi in Japan.
Kongo Gumi.
Yeah, a construction company founded in 578 AD.
578.
Seriously. Thrived for over 1,400 years by balancing tradition and innovation. What these long-haul companies show is that, like people, businesses need this ongoing self-awareness. They have to stay tuned in to change.
So Kariwala draws a line between compulsive and conscious businesses. What's the difference there?
And while compulsive businesses are reactive, short-term gains, often without a real why behind it all.
Okay.
Conscious businesses, though, they try to balance profit with ethics, with a long-term vision. You see this in movements like conscious capitalism. John Mackey, Raj Sisodia champion that.
Right, Whole Foods.
Exactly. And teal organizations from Frederick Laloux's book, think Patagonia with its environmental mission, or Buurtzorg in the Netherlands.
Buurtzorg,
Yeah.
the healthcare one.
Yeah, empowering nurses for holistic care. They really bake purpose into how they operate.
And now we even have things like B Corp and SIDX audits,
Yeah.
right? Formal ways to show that commitment.
Precisely. It proves profit and purpose can work together.
So the bottom line from this section is survival isn't just about growth.
Not just growth, no. The author argues it demands a conscious link to purpose and this ability to adapt. It's about weaving together purpose, people, and process for, truly sustainable success.
Okay, that sets the stage nicely. We've looked at the what of business. Now let's pivot to yoga. Body, mind, consciousness. Most of us in the West probably just think exercise, right?
Yeah, that's the common view. But the author reminds us the word yoga is much deeper. It's Sanskrit, and it means things like union, to yoke, adding,
Yeah.
harmonizing,
Harmonizing what?
body, mind, and consciousness. Kariwala says every human activity, business included, really has two aims. One is enhancing our standard of living, material comfort, basically.
Mhm.
The other is elevating our standard of life, inner peace, fulfillment. Real balance, he argues, comes when you pursue both together.
And the foundation for this is Patanjali's Yoga Sutras.
That's right.
Yeah.
196 short verses, sutras, from around the 2nd century BCE. It's the philosophical bedrock. He uses this great analogy. A musician needs a metronome for timing, right?
Yeah, otherwise it's just noise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yoga acts like that metronome for our inner and outer lives, bringing harmony, including in how we run a business.
And how is that harmony achieved according to yoga?
Two main ways, primarily. First, by balancing the 7 chakras. These are energy centers along the spine that influence our physical, emotional, spiritual well-being.
Okay, the chakras?
And second, by harmonizing the Ida and Pingala energy channels. Think of them as representing dual forces within us, like masculine, feminine, or logis, intuition.
Ida and Pingala, got it.
Right.
And this all comes together in Ashtanga Yoga.
Yes, Ashtanga Yoga is the 8-limbed path that guides this process. We'll get into the how of that later, but first, let's really unpack the WHY, the 7 chakras. This is where the business connection gets really interesting.
Okay, chakras as energy centers, what does that actually mean?
Well, they're seen as vital links between the mind and body. They regulate prana.
Prana, life energy.
Exactly. Life force, vital energy. The word chakra itself means wheel or spinning vortex. Think of them like energy hubs. Railway junctions or airports for energy flow through these pathways called nadis.
Nadis, are those like nerves?
Not exactly physical nerves, no. They're considered energetic pathways, distinct from the physical nervous system.
It's interesting. Our bodies use chemical energy from food, right? And electrical energy, like in an ECG. How does prana fit in?
It's seen as this more fundamental underlying life force. And the author draws this really powerful parallel to business. Just like a body without energy is, well, inert. A business without energy is just stuff. Buildings, equipment, assets. Energy is what brings it all together. The systems, the processes, the people, it makes it alive.
Right, gives it cohesion, makes it dynamic.
Precisely. Without that vital force, it's just an empty shell.
So let's list them out. The 7 chakras and their business links from the book.
Okay. First, Muladhara, the root chakra. Foundation and stability.
Got it?
Second, Swadhisthana, the sacral chakra. Creativity and innovation.
Creativity. Okay.
Third, Manipura, the solar plexus chakra. Confidence and leadership.
Confidence.
Fourth, Anahata, the heart chakra. Compassion and connection.
Compassion.
Fifth, Vishuddha, the throat chakra. Communication and expression.
Communication.
Sixth, Ajna, the third eye chakra. Intuition and vision.
Intuition.
And seventh, Sahasrara, the crown chakra. Awareness and self-realization.
Awareness. Okay, quite a list. Let's dive into the first one. Muladhara, the root chakra. Foundation and stability.
Right. Muladhara literally means root support. It's all about grounding, security, strength, like the roots of a tree.
And in business terms, what does that look like? How do you ground a business?
Well, think about tools like the business model canvas from Alexander Osterwalder. It helps you map out the fundamentals, customers, value proposition, key activities. Keeps you anchored to your core goals.
Okay, the basics.
Exactly. And for survival, you need that solid foundation, steady revenue, loyal customers, a cost structure that works long-term. Michael Gerber, in the E-Myth Revisited, really hammers home the need for systems and processes for stability and resilience.
It reminds me of Brené Brown. You can choose courage, or you can choose comfort, but you cannot choose both. How does that fit with vitality and resilience for a business?
It fits perfectly.
Yeah.
Businesses need the vitality to maintain their core assets, financial, human, tech. But they also need the courage to face challenges and adapt, not just cling to comfort.
Which links to Nassim Taleb's ideas. Black swan, anti-fragility.
Absolutely. Taleb talks about black swans, these huge, unpredictable events. But in Anti-Fragile, he says businesses shouldn't just try to survive shocks, they should aim to benefit from them, gain from disorder. That's real resilience, a core Muladhara strength.
And then there's manifestation, turning ideas into reality.
Yes, the Muladhara provides the energy for that, taking a concept and making it tangible. Stephen Covey said, all things are created twice, first in the mind, then physically.
Right.
Howard Schultz didn't just sell coffee. He manifested this vision of a third place with Starbucks. And Edison's famous quote, "Vision without action is hallucination."
Huh, true.
So Muladhara energy is foundational, protective, and growth-oriented for a business.
Okay, let's move up to the Swadhisthana, the sacral chakra, creativity and innovation, the dwelling of one's true inner self.
Exactly. This governs our creative juice, our emotional energy. It's the engine behind innovation in
Well,
business.
so generating new ideas, brainstorming.
Yeah, but more than just brainstorming. Think about design thinking. Empathize, define, ideate, prototype, test. It's a process rooted in understanding needs and finding creative solutions.
Like Simon Sinek's Start With Why.
Precisely. Or Airbnb understanding traveler needs. James Dyson making thousands of prototypes for his vacuum that's relentless Swadhisthana energy. Or Spotify completely rethinking music access, finding a creative way around piracy that benefited everyone.
And the author connects this chakra to sensuality and aesthetics, too, not just function.
Yes, he points out that historically, workplaces were often just functional, drab even. But companies like Dill and Camille in Europe, they design their stores with natural materials, good lighting. It creates a feeling, an experience.
Right, like Elaine de Botton talks about in The Architecture of Happiness. Spaces affect us emotionally.
They really do. Investing in aesthetics isn't superficial. Research shows it can boost mood and even cognitive function. It's part of that creative feeling energy of Swadhisthana. It's also linked to fertility, bringing new ideas or even whole new businesses into existence, like Lego did with Mindstorms or their Star Wars lines.
Okay, next up, Manipura, the solar plexus chakra, the abode of jewels. This is about personal power, confidence, vitality, that gut feeling.
Right. This chakra is our power center. It fuels our sense of self, our confidence, and emotional intelligence, EQ, is huge here.
EQ over IQ.
Well, not necessarily over, but critically important. Daniel Goleman showed leaders who blend assertiveness that Manipura drive with empathy actually get better results. It's about managing your own emotions and understanding others.
And determination definitely feels like a Manipura thing.
Oh, absolutely. Think Howard Schultz again. That unwavering drive to make Starbucks happen despite all the doubters, that's pure Manipura energy.
It's also linked to direction, having a clear path.
Yes. Like Lewis Carroll said, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. Manipura provides that inner compass, that sense of purpose. The author contrasts heroic leaders, often reactive firefighters, with post-heroic leaders who empower others and focus on strategic direction, like Mukesh Ambani did with Jio in India.
So Manipura energy is empowering, motivational, and resilient. Makes sense. Now let's open up to Anahata, the heart chakra. Love, compassion.
Yes, the energetic source of love, compassion, connection. In business, this translates into a healthy work culture. Psychological safety, where people feel safe to speak up, make mistakes, and real accountability, born from care, not fear.
And it governs relationships. How does that apply in business?
Well, books like Relational Intelligence or Adam Grant's Give and Take explore this. Building genuine connections with your team, customers, suppliers fosters trust, loyalty, cooperation. It's not just transactional.
And even forgiveness comes into play.
It does. Dr. Robin Kazarajian's work highlights forgiveness as healing, letting go of past hurts. In business, this means moving past mistakes or conflicts, channeling energy forward instead of getting stuck in resentment. It's about letting go, not giving up.
So the Anahata brings compassionate, harmonizing, and inspirational energy. Nice. Okay, from the heart up to the Vishuddha, the throat chakra, fully pure, communication, authenticity, listening.
Right. This is about expressing our truth clearly. And effective communication is just critical. The author mentions that common, quote, "The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place."
Ah, so true.
Joseph Grenny's Crucial Conversations gives tools for handling those tough talks respectfully, making sure the message actually lands.
And authenticity is core here. The book talks about washing, greenwashing, etc.
Yeah, companies pretending to be something they're not, it creates this dissonance. There are phrases for it everywhere. Hindi Kathani versus Karani, words versus actions. Japanese Tatame versus Hana, public face versus real feelings.
The Ratner effect is mentioned too, where the CEO insulted his own products.
Yes, a classic example of inauthenticity destroying value overnight. The author also points to potential disconnects, like executives flying private jets while preaching sustainability. But things like the EU's upcoming digital product passport are pushing for more transparency, making Sakya truthfulness more embedded.
And active listening is the third piece here.
Crucial. It's not just waiting to talk, it's truly hearing, understanding. The author shares a personal story about realizing he wasn't a good listener. It's vital in negotiations, conflict resolution, really understanding the other side.
Okay, moving up again to Ajna, the third eye chakra. Intuition and vision, guiding us beyond the immediate.
This chakra fosters wisdom. Einstein said wisdom isn't from schooling, but from a lifelong effort to acquire it. It's a journey. Data becomes information, then knowledge, then good decisions, and finally, wisdom.
And leaders known for wisdom often read a lot.
Exactly. Buffett, Gates, Oprah, known for constantly learning, absorbing information, investing in their own wisdom.
Ajna also grants perception, seeing deeper truths.
Yes, Steve Jobs saying, people don't know what they want until you show it to them. That's perceptive insight, seeing what others don't. Warren Buffett finding value where others miss it.
And vision and growth, like the Ansoff matrix.
Right. Tools like the Ansoff matrix help structure thinking about growth, market penetration, new products, new markets, diversification. But making the right choices requires that ajna wisdom and perception.
Got it. And finally, the top. Sahasrara, the crown chakra. Awareness, self-realization, connection to a higher purpose.
This is about clarity, peace, connecting to something beyond just personal gain, leading with wisdom and a sense of unity.
The book calls this enlightenment, a paradigm shift.
Yeah, like an awakening to a deeper purpose, maybe social or environmental impact. James O'Toole's The Enlightened Capitalist profiles leaders who did this. Paul Pullman at Unilever, with his sustainable living plan, aimed for growth while reducing environmental impact.
And transcendence, a heightened awareness.
Kind of like a natural high, yeah, a state of clarity that helps overcome challenges. Ray Dalio credits transcendental meditation for his success. Yuval Noah Harari uses vipassana meditation for deeper insights.
It links to Maslow's self-actualization, right? And Daniel Pink's drive, autonomy, mastery, purpose.
Absolutely. It's about finding meaning beyond just the paycheck. It's pursuing purpose.
Now, in this section, the author includes a specific viewpoint on capitalism versus other systems. How should we understand that?
Right. So the book presents the author's perspective here. It states, and I'm quoting the essence of the source, that conscious capitalism emerges as a compelling alternative to the inherent shortcomings of socialism and leftist ideologies. The author advocates for capitalism as a driver of progress and innovation, contrasting it with systems he argues often falter, and he cites Margaret Thatcher's quote about socialism running out of other people's money.
Okay, so that's the author's view presented in the book. And the transcendence for leaders is about moving beyond narrow self-interest.
Exactly. It's about gaining this broader perspective focused on purpose, integrity, and societal impact. That's the Sahasrara connection.
All right, so we've explored the chakras. Now, the book talks about Ida and Pingala balancing dualities. What are these?
Think of them as two fundamental energy channels, or forces. Ida is cooling, reflective, strategic thinking. Pingala is active, hot, operational execution. Sadhguru uses the analogy of a bird needing both wings to fly. They must work in harmony.
Like strategy and execution needing to be balanced.
Precisely. Peter Drucker nailed it. Management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things. Leadership, Ida, sets the right things. Management, Pingala, ensures they're done right.
And this connects to the modern obsession with long working hours.
Yes, the author really challenges that, especially the culture of glorifying busyness. Eric Jorgensen in the Almanac of Naval Ravikant puts it well. Play long-term games with long-term people. Time spent well is more valuable than time spent long.
So it's not about being lazy, but effective.
Exactly. Working smarter, with focus. Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek talks about the minimum effective dose, cutting out the fluff, focusing on high-impact stuff. It's about managing energy, balancing intense work, Pingala, with rest and reflection, Ida.
And this relates to ambidextrous leadership.
Yeah, Tuchman and O'Reilly's idea. Businesses need to balance exploring new ideas, innovation, Ida, with exploiting existing strengths, efficiency, Pingala. You need both to thrive long-term.
The author also has a strong view on remote work versus office work.
He does. He believes the office plays a really critical role in building culture and a sense of belonging. While remote work has benefits, he argues it can dilute that shared purpose and connection that happens more naturally when people are physically together.
Okay, interesting perspective. So we've covered the what and the why. Now for the how, Ashtanga Yoga, the 8 limbs.
Right. And the starting point here, referencing Sadhguru again, is that the ultimate aim of any activity, including business, should be human well-being.
But he also mentions the paradox of benevolence.
Yes, when pursuing well-being for some accidentally causes harm to others. Often happens when leaders focus narrowly, say, on shareholder profit, without considering the impact on employees, community, or the environment. It's a consequence of limited consciousness.
So the 8 limbs help broaden that consciousness. How do they work?
They're sequential, interconnected. Each builds on the last. They are yama principles, niyama discipline, asana posture, pranayama life force control, pratyahara letting go, dharana concentration, dhyana meditation, and finally samadhi, the pinnacle.
Okay, let's start with yama, the ethical principles. First is ahimsa, nonviolence.
Right, and this goes beyond just physical harm. It includes emotional, psychological safety, creating inclusive, diverse, ethical workplaces. Organizations like CEDEX promote this in supply chains, no forced labor, safe conditions.
Then satya, truthfulness. Perceiving reality, acting truthfully.
Exactly. Transparency, authenticity, think town halls, anonymous surveys, Bridgewater Associates, radical transparency, Everlane showing its pricing breakdown.
And avoiding half-truths. The book mentions Belcampo, the meat company.
Yeah, a stark example of dishonesty leading to collapse. And again, the EU's digital product passport is a move towards embedding this kind of truthfulness, Satya, into business practice.
Okay. Asteya is next non-stealing, giving back proportionately.
Yes. Things like carbon neutrality versus net zero are modern takes on this in environmental terms. Fair trade, the Fairware Foundation, they ensure fair compensation. The circular economy idea minimizing waste, reusing materials like recycled polyester or cotton, that's Asteya in action.
And respecting intellectual property, too.
Definitely. Giving credit where it's due, not stealing ideas or work.
Then aparigraha, non-possessiveness, owning only what's needed.
Right, releasing the excess for the greater good. Andrew Carnegie's idea of surplus wealth being a sacred trust.
So philanthropy fits here, like the Stanford Seed Program mentioned.
Yes, that's a great example. Contrast that with corrupt dictators hoarding wealth while their countries suffer. But it also applies to minimalism in business, like Apple Store's clean design, agile development focusing on essentials, lean management cutting waste. It's about avoiding being possessed by possessions.
And the last, yama, brahmacharya, moderation or continence.
Basically, balance, avoiding extremes. In relationships, it means fidelity, focus. Esther Perel talks about how outside affairs drain energy. History shows personal indiscretions can wreck professional lives. It's about self-restraint, maintaining clarity and trust.
So yama sets the ethical groundwork. Then comes niyama, the discipline. This is more internal.
Exactly. Yama is about how we interact outwardly. Yama is self-regulation, personal integrity, and real discipline isn't just talk, it's consistent action, especially when things get tough.
First niyama is saucha, self-purification. Cleanliness.
Tangible cleanliness, yes, personal hygiene, tidy workspace, that helps focus. But also intangible purification, cleansing the mind of negativity, grudges, anxiety, even purity of language matters, using respectful, clear words.
Okay. Then santosha, contentment, finding satisfaction.
Yes. This combats burnout, which we know impacts productivity and well-being. Companies like Basecamp or those in Small Giants, they prioritize a healthy work culture and excellence over just chasing endless growth. They cultivate santosha.
Tapas is self-discipline, perseverance.
Right, that inner fire, the commitment to stick with things, learn, grow, be resilient.
Swadhyaya is self-study, self-reflection.
Crucial for growth. Journaling, 360 reviews, carving out time for reflection, a meeting with oneself. The Johari window is a useful tool here, understanding your blind spots, hidden areas, and expanding self-awareness. Like Drucker said, reflection leads to more effective action.
And Ishwar Pranatana, surrender to a higher purpose.
Briefly, yes, it's about trusting the process, letting go of anxieties by connecting to something larger than oneself. The book suggests a practical 28-day journaling practice to really integrate yama and niyama.
Okay. Moving on to asana, posture. More than just exercise, right?
Much more. It's seen as preparing the body, making it a stable yet flexible vessel for consciousness, like an antenna tuning into subtler energies. It's about balancing strength and ease.
So physical flexibility mirrors mental or strategic flexibility.
That's the idea. Businesses constantly need to balance competing forces, stability and agility, endurance and focus, long-term vision and short-term execution. Asana practice helps cultivate that balance internally. The author suggests a simple routine: 25 asanas, 40 minutes daily, emphasizing consistency over intensity.
Then pranayama, control over life force, not just breathing exercises.
Right. It's about regulating prana, that vital energy. Yogic philosophy distinguishes the mind, this energetic field, from the physical brain. Energy flows where attention goes, so managing mental energy is key.
And for a business, what's the prana, not profit?
No, profit is more like the result of having good prana. Breathing keeps us alive, but it's not the purpose of life. The author argues the true life force, the prana of a business, is the process of attracting and retaining customers.
How so? Examples.
Think EasyJet's super simple booking process. Or Spotify making music access easy and legal, a win-win. Their prana is in that seamless experience. IKEA's flat pack model, Canva's easy design platform, Shopify's user experience, Zoom being grandma-friendly.
Ah, so the customer experience, CX, is the real prana.
That's the core argument. It's not the product itself, but how the whole interaction makes the customer feel. Maya Angelou's quote fits perfectly. People will forget what you said, but people will never forget how you made them feel.
So designing the CX is like managing the business's prana.
Exactly. Through things like simplifying the customer journey, think Apple Store checkout, personalization, Netflix recommendations, sensory design, Tesla interiors, Disney parks, and constantly getting feedback, like using Net Promoter Score to iterate and improve.
And this CX is linked to other experiences, employee, supplier.
Inextricably linked, yes. Employee experience, EX, affects customer interactions. Supplier experience, SX, impacts quality and reliability. Things well bought are already half sold. Community experience, COGX matters too. They all feed into the overall CX, the prana. A conscious business nurtures all these relationships.
Got it. Practical pranayama.
The book suggests at least 10 minutes daily. Practices like Shitali Pranayama, cooling breath, for stress reduction, and Anulom Vilom, alternate nostril breathing, to balance Ida and Pingala, enhance focus, calm the system.
Okay. Next limb, pratyahara, the art of letting go. Withdrawing from the unnecessary.
Starts with easier things, like outdated tech typewriters, paper maps. We naturally let those go.
But harder with habits and processes.
Much harder. James Clear's Atomic Habits helps with breaking bad personal habits. In business, it's about shedding outdated processes, overcoming that Kafkaesque struggle, the frustrating bureaucracy that alienates customers.
The book mentions a tragic case involving a CEO.
Yes, Brian Thompson of United Healthcare, to underline the extreme frustration poorly designed systems can cause. It prompts questions like, why are systems often designed to hinder? And what's the point of chasing another million if it compromises principles and purpose?
So clinging to the old ways is dangerous.
Very. Clayton Christensen's Innovator's Dilemma shows how companies fail by sticking to old tech or processes. Marshall Goldsmith's What Got You Here Won't Get You There. Past strategies become future barriers.
But the hardest pratyahara, the book says, is letting go of toxic relationships.
Yes. Customers who drain resources, the 80-20 rule, sometimes worse, employees who aren't aligned, difficult investors, even co-founders. Bob Pritchett's Fire Someone Today tackles this directly. It's tough, but sometimes necessary.
It's about avoiding escalating commitment to failing situations.
Exactly. That cognitive bias keeps us stuck. Pratyahara is strategic withdrawal, intentional letting go, not just giving up. It frees up energy for what truly matters. Even harder in personal life, of course, where ahimsa, non-harming, is also key.
Practical pratyahara.
Digital detoxes, mindfulness breaks, a monthly subtraction exercise, what can we stop doing? Maybe even organizational pratyahara conferences and annual relationship audits.
Okay. Limb 6. Dharana, concentration. Like the magnifying glass focusing sunlight.
Perfect analogy. Holding the mind steady on one point, filtering out distractions, it's the essential first step towards true meditation, Diana.
And focus is so rare today.
A superpower, really. Google's initial laser focus on search. Tesla's unwavering focus on sustainable energy. That's dharana in action. Goldrat's theory of constraints in the goal is basically business dharana. Find the one bottleneck and focus there.
How do we cultivate it daily?
Cal Newport's deep work-focused, uninterrupted work blocks. Gary Keller's The One Thing asking, what's the one thing? Practical tactics include single tasking, Pomodoro technique, using focus anchors, breath, sound, visualization, focused learning, like Duolingo's bite-sized lessons, time boxing, Jeep work.
And dharana leads naturally into dhyana meditation.
Yes. Dhyana is where concentration becomes effortless. You're completely absorbed, time disappears. It leads to clarity, insight, deep awareness, not forcing focus, but being in the focus.
We have apps for that now, like Headspace.
Exactly. Guided meditations help, but flow states in any activity, sports, music, writing, that's also a form of dhyana. Practical ways include daily micro-meditations, mindful pauses between activities, like a silent moment before a meeting or chanting Om, active meditation, walking mindfully, and maybe longer retreats.
Which brings us to the final limb, samadhi, the pinnacle. This isn't something you do.
Right. The author stresses it's an outcome, something that happens when the conditions are right, after practicing the other limbs. Like watching a sunrise, you prepare, you show up, but you don't make the sunrise.
Can work itself be samadhi?
For some, yes. The book mentions doctors deeply fulfilled by their intense work, purpose-driven entrepreneurs where work is life. The challenge is fostering that shared sense of purpose, that state of absorption, within a whole team.
The book connects this to ikigai and wu-wei.
Yes. Ikigai, the Japanese idea where what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for all intersect. For business, it's that sweet spot where internal values meet external needs and profit follows purpose.
And wu-wei.
The Taoist principle of effortless action. Acting in harmony with the flow, knowing when to push and when to allow. Simplicity, timing, authenticity, not forcing things.
This really reframes work-life balance, doesn't it?
Completely. The author and others like Matthew Kelly in Off Balance argue against seeing work and life as separate things to be balanced. Instead, it's about integrating them, finding overall satisfaction by aligning all parts of life with your values and purpose.
And a key part of this is seeing humans differently, not as resources.
Absolute critical point in the book. Calling people resources limits them, implies they're finite like raw materials. But humans have limitless potential for creativity, growth. Samadhi in business means treating people as partners, co-creators, unlocking that potential.
So samadhi is purpose and action becoming one, being part of something bigger.
That's the essence. Transcending the individual ego, acting in harmony. Businesses achieving this become catalysts for well-being, elevating both the standard of living and the standard of life.
Wow. Okay, so in the epilogue, the author revisits his why. Why does work feel like a burden for so many, but joyful for a few?
Yeah, his observations of genuinely joyful employees at his own company, Kariwala Industries, sparked the whole idea of formalizing business yoga.
And he sees business yoga as combining three paths.
Yes. Jnana Yoga, wisdom, understanding. Karma Yoga, selfless action, mindfulness, and work. And Bhakti Yoga, devotion, loving what you do, offering it unconditionally.
He also emphasizes community sangha.
Right. The power of a supportive community for sharing wisdom, challenging ideas. He encourages you, the listener, to form your own sanghas. And he mentions Anekantavada.
Great Jain philosophy.
Yes, the idea that multiple truths can coexist. It encourages engaging with these ideas thoughtfully, critically, not just blindly accepting them. Challenge, refine, discuss.
So the ultimate vision is work as joy, purpose, harmony.
Exactly. Not a chore, but a meaningful extension of life's purpose.
Well, this has been fascinating. Our aim in this deep dive was really to shed light on how this ancient wisdom from yoga might actually transform modern business, moving beyond just profit to foster balance, consciousness, and maybe even joy.
Yeah, it's a powerful framework to consider.
So we really invite you to reflect on these ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just start small. A tiny daily meditation, perhaps. Or just noticing one habit you're clinging to that doesn't really serve you anymore.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with, drawing on that quote mentioned earlier. If, as Margaret Thatcher suggested, the problem with socialism is you eventually run out of other people's money, then perhaps we should ask, what is the long-term problem for businesses that only accumulate money and never truly invest in fostering that intangible, vital prana, the energy that creates lasting human well-being and maybe, just maybe, a truly joyful and perpetual existence?